Welcome to Five Fires YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about what is coming soon, possibly, to Disneyland from Bob Iger himself. If you're not already following me on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram at the Cali Bay. Please subscribe, hit the like button, fire it up. I'm the main host, Mondo. Let's do this. So for today's article, we're going to be talking about article that has been released by the Barons. The Barons interviewed Bob Iger, and they went over many different things in regards to the Disney company itself. I'm a little surprised they interviewed Bob Iger, since Bob Chapek was the one to take over, but there's still a lot of power and strength that holds with Bob Iger himself, as he's the one, in my opinion, probably leading the way in the background of what's going on, since he's the one that's been at the forefront and just the top for so long. So I feel like a lot of comfortability does come with Bob Iger in the background. This article goes over a lot of insight of what's going on with the Disney company itself. They even talk here, the analyst says Disney has the financial strength to weather the downturn. And Bob Iger himself even said, let me try to go over where he said, he's very optimistic, although he's being realistic. His optimism because he has faith in the long-term prospects of the business, as our brands, which I think are important here, we know have always been a place for people to go, whether it's a movie or a park or ESPN, to enjoy their lives and to distance themselves from whatever daily issues they may have facing. And that is so true. That is so true with Disneyland, the movies, as he's saying, ESPN, the TV shows, everything. Because when we go to Disneyland, I think some of the biggest things is that we do let our worries go, and we don't have to worry about bills, life, relationships, job. All that is gone as soon as you enter Disneyland. But the things that might be coming, and he hinted at it in this article, and I'm talking about Bob Iger himself, that they might be doing temperature checks before you actually go into Disneyland. And the thing about that, let me go on to it right here. On reopening the parks, and let's go into it. One of the things we're discussing already is that in order to return some semblance of normal, people would have to feel comfortable that they're safe. Safety is a big thing at Disneyland. Some of that could come in the form of ultimately a vaccine, which we currently at this point in time do not have. But in absence of that, it could be from basically more scrutiny, more restrictions. Just as we now do bag checks for everybody that goes into the parks, it could be at that some point we add a component of that to take people's temperatures, as for instance. And this all comes from what's the processes that's being done in China. We're studying very carefully what China has been trying to do in terms of their return to normalcy. And one of the things that's obvious is they've conscripted a large segment of their population to monitor others in terms of their health. You can't get on a bus or a subway or a train or even enter a high-rise building without getting your temperature check. You cannot go to school. Or the schools have not, when they reopen, they're probably going to have that done as well. So just any time you're around large groups of people, they are doing temperature checks. And that's something that is huge, because when we go to Disneyland, I know I brought this up recently on a different video, and I feel like I got a little bit of negativity, but I get it. It's Disneyland is going to change. It has to change, especially with the big absence of a vaccine. So there's not necessarily something that could just directly help people right away, which would a vaccine would be. So there comes the fact that we've been doing this social distancing, staying away from large groups. I feel like all of that is still going to continue until a vaccine occurs or comes. And Disneyland will be different, as Bob Iger's saying, with the temperature checks. Some of the new things, too, that might occur, there's going to be probably hand sanitizer, more locations. They're probably going to be cleaning the park more rigorously. There's going to be a lot of things in the background. There's probably going to be new policies of how to clean, how to deal with guests, and there's just going to be new policies throughout all of Disneyland in regards to cleanliness, the health standards that they're going to abide by, and then just dealing with guests in general. Is social distancing something that might stay in Disneyland? We will see. We will see, because I find it hard to believe that if the park was to reopen and there's no vaccine at the time, that we're just going to forget about the whole don't be in crowds and 6 feet apart and wear a mask and like the cleanliness of everything. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough Disneyland to return to once we get there. Some of the things we might, just so you can be prepared, you might go to Disneyland and go into Main Street, the candy, go get some candy on the left side, and over there at, what is it, Arcade or Candy Palace or whatever, and you might see somebody with the mask making your candy. You might see the person at the register with the mask at Disneyland. So just be ready for that. And in my opinion, I'm ready for all that. Like, I have no fight or will against it. I am all for it. Especially that we do not have a vaccine right now. So some of the other big things that this article brought up is in regards to the films. Just the whole Disney company as a whole has been affected big time. As here they go over some of the movies that have been moved forward. They got Artemis Fowl. That was supposed to have been released, but it's going to be delayed. Some other things that have happened is like Onward, Frozen 2. Those two movies have been put through the process of theater, being sold digitally, or if you could want to buy it like in DVD, and then put on Disney Plus. All that got sped up tremendously, and now both of those movies, Frozen 2 and Onward, are on Disney Plus already, which is awesome for the fans, especially the ones that have Disney Plus. And some other movies might just go directly to Disney Plus without hitting the theater. Some other movies too that got affected was Black Widow. That was one of the ones that I can remember was supposed to be released in this time period. But in regards to the financial strength and the ability to bounce back, this is what we want to hear, especially from Bob Iger. This was the interview part. We're fortunate as a company that we have access to capital that will keep us more than solvent through the prolonged period. Now, when I say prolonged, I don't necessarily mean forever. No one's got that. That said, we've taken the steps during this time period, the furloughs to reduce cost out of necessity. We started with the senior executives. We felt that was necessary, not just in terms of reducing costs, but also sending a signal. Others obviously will feel the impact as well as we look to preserve the long-term health of the company financially. In addition to that, I don't think we're ever going to see a return to business as usual in that sense. I can't speak for all companies, but Disney will take this opportunity to look for ways to run our business more effectively when we come back. So what we're doing is thinking, okay, as things start to return, one, what must we address in terms of making people feel safe? But secondly, what must we address in terms of running the company more efficiently? Given that, we believe business conditions will dictate. So, wow. A lot of big statements said there from Bob Iger himself. This is just a great interview. In my opinion, whatever Disney has to do to make people feel safe at the park, do it. I know it's going to delay the lines in regards to getting either through security or even possibly through the entrance to Disneyland, but we're ready for that. That is something that I just don't even want to argue with. It is what it is. It's going to just take another 30 minutes. Let it be. What are your guys' thoughts in regards to temperature checks, wearing masks at Disneyland, maybe more hand sanitizer? It's going to be a different Disneyland when we come back. And don't get me wrong, I am excited overall. Definitely can't wait to get back. But we'll see for how long all this new normal, as they're saying, lasts. In my opinion, I think it's going to be a long time until that vaccine is widely distributed to anybody that needs it. And I think until that happens, these more scrutinous checks are going to be needed. And I feel like it's a great thing to have those safety checks for sure. Thank you guys for listening to Five Fires YouTube. I appreciate all the support. If you're not already following me on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram at the Cali Bay. Please subscribe, hit the like button. But we are firing it down, firing it down. The Cali Bay is calling it a day. I'm the main host, Mondo. Out.